Like, I don't have any other general explanation, but I'm just like, everything they do together makes me cry, even when they could be reading a menu, and I'd be like, oh my God, it's so good. Like,
oh, that's great.
No, you need to. But anywho, oh Lord. Okay. Should we do this thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do this.
Hello, Fun Facts fam. This is an exciting episode. Not only is it the first episode of season 2, but it's also the first episode with someone I have never met in person. Even more exciting, we're going to try and do a double round where the guest tries to stump me as well. So put on your thinking caps, grab your favorite beverage, and get ready to play along at home on Fun Facts with
BillieBillieB.
So I have a couple of interview questions before we get started so that my audience can get to know you a little bit better. My audience is predominantly one guy in Norway or one lady in Norway. I do not know. So shout out to my listener in Norway. Someone pointed out that it could be a VPN listening to me, but I don't like that. So I'm just pretending that they're in Norway.
Machines are taking over.
So the first question I have for you is, what makes you feel generally inspired?
Other people's interests. I know that sounds crazy, but when someone's excited about something, there's usually a background to that. And I love picking apart like people's brains and being like, why do you like that? Not as an insult to them, but like, I want to like that too. You seem so excited. I want to be excited. So teach me. So when other people are excited about things, it inspires me to be more excited about the things that I already like.
Nice. Yeah. I really like that answer. I mean, the thing that makes me feel most inspired is food. So
hell yeah. I mean, hey, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge snack fan. Like we eat about like one normal meal a day and then the rest of it's just snack food. So I feel you.
Absolutely. The next question I have is, what is your best tip for making the world a better place?
Listen. It's really that simple. Just listen. People have reasons for what they do. Even if it's bad, everyone's got a reason. If you just like sit down and listen to people's reasons, you're gonna have a lot better understanding of the person sitting across from you. Like, I get so irritated when people are like, well, I don't like it. And I was like, well, you don't like it. Why? And like, I don't get it. And usually when people don't like something, it's because they don't understand something. People have a big fear of learning about something different from them. I think the world would be a lot better place. We all just sat down for 2 seconds and shut up and just got to know each other. We have a lot more in common than we do different.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. What would you pick for a last meal?
What would I pick as a last meal? In all honesty, I have 2 answers for that.
Okay.
Tropical fruits, a variety of them. Anything that they could just pull out of a pantry, just in a variety of tropical fruits, or just a really nice Southern meal. Like I grew up in Florida. I'm from North Carolina, and I love like catfish, coleslaw, some collard greens, some cornbread, maybe like bread pudding for dessert. But the tropical fruits, because if I'm being put to death, I might as well spite everybody and off myself beforehand because I am allergic to tropical fruits. I would love to just stare the warden in the eyes as I'm going into anaphylactic shock and being like, I did it myself before you could.
And then the last question I have for you is, like, where can you be found if someone wanted to follow you on social media? Like,
okay, so I was very anti-social media before being a performer. That's weird, but I guess the place you can find me now is on TikTok, BillieBillieB. It's as easy as that. Or you can look me up on Instagram. It's _BillieBillieB_. And I don't even really post on Instagram. I use it for its messenger feature because people contact me to date their antiques for them. So if you guys have any antiques you need help finding values for or dates, hit me up. Send me pictures. I'll be able to help. I check it once a day.
Wonderful. Okay, so the categories I have for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go first, and then I'm going to let you go to get your revenge on me.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So the categories I have for you are history, glassware, because you are Billie the Pyrex Queen on TikTok, um, and a potpourri. So just like a random facts of the day category, which are just whatever I found interesting while Googling. And so which category would you like to start with?
Oh God. Hit me with the random ones. I'm totally down. Let's start with the hard ones.
Start with the potpourri first?
Yeah, let's go.
Absolutely. And don't forget that you do have one hint available per category and 50-50 available to use at any time during the game.
50-50s for quitters. Let's go.
All right. So the facts I have for you are: 1, the Goodyear blimp is the official state bird of Redondo Beach, California. 2, it would only take 1 hour to drive to space. And 3, 1/3 of all calories consumed by humans worldwide is provided by rice. And you are looking for the lie. Which one of those is the lie? And I can repeat any of them, and you can talk it out. And
I know C is real. There's no way it's not. It would take you, hold on. How fast are you driving?
60 miles an hour.
Okay, thanks. I'm like, mathematically, I mean, I could drive at 2 miles an hour. Let's go. 60 miles an hour takes you about, okay, it's taking an hour. Yeah, that makes sense. A is the lie.
Are you sure?
Don't do this to me. I mean, Redondo. Okay. Listen, California is a weird place, okay? And it's as weird as Florida, just a different flavor of weird. It would not shock me if A was true, okay? Like, it wouldn't. But out of the other two, most cultures eat rice. And it's easily found in most cultures. So 1/3 of the calories that humans usually eat, yeah, sure, rice. 60 miles out of the atmosphere, I would hope to God, would be in some kind of microgravity orbit, but I may be wrong because I'm not a space person. So I'm going to go with, yeah, the blimp is not the state or the city bird or state bird.
All right. Is that your final answer?
It is.
All right. That is incorrect.
What is it? Oh God, I love this.
So it, number 3 is actually false. It's only...
Really?
Yeah, it's just over 1/5 of the calories
dang.
by humans worldwide.
Oh man.
That's how all my lies are. They're just a little bit tricky.
You're like me. I did the same thing. Damn you.
Good.
Damn you to hell.
Good.
Okay. I love this. No, keep it.
Yep.
Okay. Let's do this every week. I love this.
So it would only take 1 hour to drive to space. That is true, according to astronomer Fred Hoyle. If it were physically possible to drive directly up at 60 miles per hour or 95 kilometers per hour, you would reach space in about 1 hour. This means that our atmosphere extends about 60 miles into space. And then, number 1, the Goodyear blimp is the official state bird of Redondo Beach, California.
Of course it is.
This is completely true, which is absolutely absurd to me. And it was adopted in 1983. The town council adopted that measure to make the blimp, whose actual airbase home is only a few miles away, their official city bird.
Jesus.
Isn't that insane?
I love this. It's so messed up, but you know what? Good. Let them have their blimp. We only live one life. Sure, you can tout that wherever you go. I'm from Redondo Beach, and then that would be the immediate next thing I would say. Our city bird is a blimp, and then just like walk away.
Absolutely.
Let people take that in for a moment.
So what history or what categories do you have for me to
All right. I've got random world history. So anything that took place outside of the US. Vintage horror movies. That's anything from 1930 to 1970. And American history.
Let's go with world history. I'll save my worst for the last, which is going to be the vintage horror movies.
Oh no, yeah, the vintage horror movies one tripped up a lot of people. I was like, how do these sound? And they were like, crap. So let's do random world history. All right. 1. Alexander the Great was accidentally buried alive. B. The Leaning Tower of Pisa was never actually straight to begin with. And C. The Great Fire of London killed over 6,000 people.
Well, I know that about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And I remember reading an article saying that it is possible that Alexander the Great may have been buried alive, but they do not know, as he is dead in his tomb or wherever he is buried. So I'm not sure about your numbers on the London fire. I'm gonna say it's yeah. I'm gonna go with number 3, unless you have a hint for this category.
Do you want a hint?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say this, that I can give you a hint on all 3. Alexander the Great, yeah, he's buried, but there's a lot of anecdotes about him. A census category was not allocated for the London fire, so they don't know exactly how many people died. They can only go by what they think. And the Leaning Tower of Pisa was meant to be built straight, and mathematically, the people of that time were very precise. So do with those extra facts what you will.
Wow. That's, you know what? I'm going to stick with the London fire one. That's what I'm going to go with.
Final answer?
Yeah, that's my final answer.
You are correct.
Yeah,
the London fire on the census only killed 6 people. But what they didn't allocate to that census count was anybody who was in servitude. So anybody who was considered a servant, person of the house, this, that, and the other, they didn't count them. So only rich people got counted in the London fires.
Oh, that's dark.
Yeah, it ruined over 1,300 acres of the city, and only 6 people died. And I'm like, well, what about their servants? They don't matter. I'm like, oh my God. You can't just say that. Like, you can't just, they're not people, it's fine. Yeah, no. Oh, my extra facts. The Alexander the Great thing. So, fun story. They thought, well, they're coming to the conclusion now, and there should be another paper released in 2021. And I forget who's writing it. They think he had Guillain-Barré syndrome, and he was having an episode. And because the doctors of that time weren't too great with the whole "are you alive or dead" thing, buried him on accident. They suspect that he wound up actually dying of suffocation in his sleep while he was still having an attack. So there's that. That's nice to know that maybe he didn't go horribly, or at least he wasn't aware of what was going on.
Yeah, and then, that's terrifying.
It is terrifying. Like, I learned that fact when I was back in college, and I called out my professor. I was like, no. And he was like, yep. And I was like, no. You can't just look at someone and be like, yeah, throw him in the ground. Like, is there not other things you can do? Like, put a mirror under his nose. Like, I don't know what you need to do, but not that. Not that. But then I also think that like hundreds of years later, you had the Victorians who were like, I have an idea. Let's put a bell on top of the grave. Right? If we accidentally bury someone alive, it'll be great, you guys. It's I can't even think about it. And then the Leaning Tower of Pisa was never straight to begin with. Correct. They were halfway done with building the damn thing, and it already had started to lean because they decided that they wanted to build it on silt and peat moss. I was like, yep. What the fuck? Like, wait, you can't. And they were like, instead of going, let's move it or like reinforce it, they were like, no, just fix it. It's like, move it. No, just keep building it. It's like, you guys are spending ridiculous amounts of time, effort, money on workers for this, and you want it to fall over? I forget the dollar amount they spend every year reinforcing the quote unquote foundation underneath it, just enough to keep it from collapsing. And they have the resources to make it straight, but because it's such a tourist money grab, they'll never straighten it out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Why would they? They make probably millions of dollars a year from tourists just coming to look at the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So why in the world would they straighten it back out? But it is on the constant verge of destruction. Last time I was in that area, you used to be able to climb up it. You are forbidden from climbing up it. And now you can't even get within something crazy like the radius of it falling. You can no longer step into that area for the off chance that a small earthquake or tremor would come through and just topple the whole thing to the ground.
Oh, yeah.
So people all the time are like, it's like a world wonder. I'm like, for now, I'm waiting for the day where we get that report where it's like the Leaning Tower of Pisa is no longer leaning. It has fallen.
So which category do you want next? The history category I have for you, or the glassware category?
Glassware.
Okay.
Let's do this.
All right. Number 1. The glass orfica is an instrument constructed entirely of a series of glass crystal bowls inset on a rolling cylinder and played with wet hands. Number 2. Pyrex was invented after a Corning executive gave his wife a cut bottom of a battery to bake with. And number 3, the Lycurgus Cup may contain perfected nanoparticles embedded 1,600 years before their discovery.
Say that last one again. My brain is doing that Rolodex thing. I'm sitting here like, hold on.
The Lycurgus.
No, you have it. It's the Lycurgus Cup. Yeah.
Cup may contain perfected nanoparticles embedded in it nearly 1,600 years before their modern discovery.
Interesting. Okay. So get this. My glass expertise goes from 1880 to today. Anything before that, I have little like shadows of knowledge. Like if it's something that I randomly come across, I'm like, hell yeah. Anything after that, I'm like, what is that? I love learning about stuff though. I'm only familiar with Lycurgus cups because of my art history degree. Like I only literally that is the extent of what I've dealt with them, like the capacity which I dealt with them. The Pyrex. So here's the fun thing. Pyrex originally started as a railway and automotive glass company. And the creator of Pyrex, there's about 4 or 5 different stories of how it originally came about. There's the wife story. There's a child story. There's a business partner story. And there's a revenge story. I go all along with it. I'm going to go ahead and say the Pyrex one, quote unquote, is true, quote unquote. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and say the Lycurgus Cup. Maybe.
Are you sure?
I'm saying the Lycurgus Cup. No, I'm saying is true. Maybe.
Oh.
I'm going to go with A.
The glass orfica?
I'm going to go with A. I've never heard of that before in my life, and I would love to learn about it.
That's your final answer?
That's my final answer.
That is correct.
Okay, I was about to say, I know a lot of glass instruments, and that one tell me about it.
It's actually the glass harmonica that is a series of glass crystal bowls, and
where you play them with wet fingers.
Yeah, and they play them with wet fingers. But it rotates on a cylinder, like on a lathe, and you just touch it, and then you get your hands wet again, and you touch it, and it automatically plays it.
Spooky shit.
And the bonus fact on this is that an orfica is actually a portable type of piano that was worn.
Okay, I was about to say. I was like,
yeah, and
is that?
It's considered an early forerunner of the guitar, and only a few were made between 1795 and 1810, and only 30 remain today.
Okay, so get this. I'm madly in love with player pianos. I own one, and my father helped refurbish one. I grew up with one. I literally have, I don't know if you dug through my TikToks far enough, but I just bought a player piano I'm refurbishing right now. And that fact just made my heart so happy. A fucking guitar, an early guitar.
Yeah. Look up an orfica at some point.
Yeah.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
here.
yep.
I'm totally down. I'm 100% down.
It's spelled ORPHICA. Orphica.
H-I-C. So like it sounds.
Yeah. Yep. And
I
they
love that.
it
Oh
it
my God.
looks like a bizarre combination between a like a concert harp, a piano, and a guitar.
Damn.
It's this bizarre looking instrument, but also like, yes, please, I want to go to there.
I know that you said there's only 30, but I'm over here like, I wonder what I'd have to do
Uh-huh.
to acquire one.
But you are correct. The most common myth, the one that's like on Wikipedia about the founding of Pyrex, is about Bessie Littleton, who did indeed at one point cook in borosilicate Norex battery bottom.
Correct. Yep.
From Corning.
Yeah, so there was 3 or 4 products that were made before Pyrex actually became a household name. Pyrex is the domestic version of borosilicate. Originally, borosilicate was made for planes, trains, and automobiles, even though planes weren't a thing yet. But yeah, it was made for things that move. And then there was so there was Norex, Non-X, and then Pyrex. One was a mistake. The other one was on purpose. And then Pyrex was because they were like, ooh, Industrial Revolution's over. Let's take advantage of domesticated women.
Yeah, let's just remove the lead from this.
Yeah, let's take the lead out because that's bad. And then here you go. And then of course, their scientific glass was still extremely popular, but they realized that the scientific community also did not want lead in their glass. And so Pyrex then was blown to be scientific Pyrex. And unfortunately, their first couple of runs of domesticated Pyrex and scientific Pyrex looked the same. So you'll come across a lot of 1920s Pyrex where you'll look at it and people are like, what is this? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I can tell you when it's from and I can tell you technically, quote unquote, what it is, but that is either a drinking glass or a chemical measure.
Yep.
Don't drink that. Like, just look at it. Put it on your mantle. And they're like, how can you not tell? I'm like, do you not understand what multi-purpose means?
Oh, yeah. Yep. And then
please don't poison yourself on my behalf. Like, don't.
What I have, at least, again, according to the Wikipedia sources, in 1915 was when Pyrex was like released during World War I to like the actual household use as an alternative to the German-owned Duran products.
Yes and no. So this was a whole thing back then where the patriotism actually meant something because other countries were legitimate actual threats to our safety. It kind of became after World War I around that time that people were super skeeved out by import all of a sudden because it was normal to trade up until that point, until people were like, it's a literal world war. And so after that, it was less along the lines of wanting to actually compete monetarily and more along the lines of seeing an opportunity to exploit the American people and their fear.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, it's made in America? Perfect. And then just like, it went nuts after that. The first at-home version of Pyrex came out in 1915, and the domestic, quote unquote, domestic version of Pyrex came out in 1919. And the 1919 version, I actually just did a video of that on TikTok where I flipped out because there's a girl with a original 1919 Pyrex casserole serving dish. And I was like, where did you get that? She got it at Goodwill for $3. I'm like, someone died. Someone died and their kids didn't know what they had and they gave it to Goodwill because they didn't know what it was. And then Goodwill was like, I don't know what this is, and slapped a $3 sticker on it. And now this girl has a historically priceless piece of glass. And my jealousy overflows. I know you can get them on eBay for $40 and whatever, and that's great. But it's more along the lines of the find. I'm not even shocked about the price so much as where she found it. Because those are passed down for generations and generations and generations, and it is what it is. And this girl's like, oh yeah, I found it at Goodwill for $3. I'm like, screw you.
Why?
I was also, who gave it up?
Right.
Was an estate sale gone wrong? Like, I want answers, because to me I have to constantly remind myself that historical significance does not necessarily equal worth.
Right.
I think other people are also so used to watching Antiques Roadshow.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, Antiques Roadshow and things like that have skewed the American psyche in such a way that everybody thinks that if it's old, it's expensive. It's just not the case. And if it's historic, it's expensive. I have a pair of original Victorian baby shoes that are covered in copper right now, like dipped in copper, that people would be like, that's so cool, it must be worth a lot. Bullshit. It is not. Even though it is rare, it is not worth maybe $30 at auction. Like, it's not about that. People don't understand the difference.
Yeah.
But I wish more people would understand that old does not equal price, but it does equal better quality 90% of the time.
Absolutely.
Like, consumer culture back then was actually wholesome. It was buy this thing and never have to buy it again. Now people are like, buy this thing and you'll have to buy another one in 5 years. Like, it's so
absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah,
Ooh.
and then the Lycurgus Cup, that is true according to the Smithsonian, but they have zero idea what the nanoparticles were used for. But it's what causes the Lycurgus Cup to shift color.
Yeah, also to glow almost, right?
And also to almost glow.
Okay.
Yep. That's what they found out that's what caused it, and they were like, we have no clue what it's used for. But in studying the Lycurgus Cup, they found that nanoparticles could have a use in improving things like pregnancy tests and making those shift colors faster and easier. Yeah.
I freaking love that. I love that. That's so cool. Yeah, the whispers I've heard about it here and there have not been that in depth. I've literally just heard, it's special because it glows. Like, that's the extent. But right when you said like nanoparticles, I'm like, maybe that's what makes it glow. Like, yeah, that has to be it, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. I just looked up something because now you got me wondering about the whole pregnancy test thing. And this is slapping me right in the face. There is a forum. Somebody type in Lycurgus on their Google right now. You'll find it. It's on Reddit. There's a forum arguing to the death about how to pronounce it properly. And I'm laughing my ass off in my head. It's great. I'm like, wow, because you know what happens, right? You get 90% of the people are like, I'm somehow a language professor all of a sudden. And then you've got the 10% that are actually language professors and they're arguing amongst themselves. I love literature drama. So good. Apparently it's Lycurgus, and other people are saying Lycurgus, and other people are saying it's Lycurgus and Lycurgus. And I'm like, all of them are technically correct. But continue.
Yeah.
Whatever.
All right.
My turn.
Yep. Let's go with the American history category.
You're saving vintage horror for last.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. These are specifically American history facts. All right. 1. During the Salem witch trials, the accused witches were never actually burned at the stake. 2. The Medal of Honor wasn't a thing until World War I. 3. Abraham Lincoln was a wrestler with a 299 match winning streak.
Well, I know that the witches are true, that no one was actually burned at the stake. And do you know why?
There's tons of reasons why, but
it's because I actually pulled that fact for you for this next category.
Whoops.
So I know that's true. So you'll have 2 facts in this last category.
I get a 50-50 automatically. I love this game.
You get a 50-50 automatically.
I love this game.
And
technically you do too.
Right. And then actually, I know that the Abraham Lincoln one is true because I actually did, I pulled that fact for an episode a few episodes ago.
Damn.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite drunk history facts to date.
So it's the last one is the one that's remaining. I can't remember what it is. Is the
good job. It's the Medal of Honor. But when was it established?
I don't know.
And here's what's funny. It's the most effed up thing in the world. The Civil War is when the Medal of Honor was originally introduced, and it was introduced by the Union. But of course, you know that Confederates make no damn sense. And they were like, well, we're part of this nation too. So we want the Medal of Honor too. And I was like, aren't you trying to secede from the Union? What are you doing? And it's the same with racists now. They can't make up their minds. So like, you don't get the Medal of Honor. You're not an American. Like, you're trying to not be part of the United States. Why are you bitching? There's this huge, awful thing that started so much infighting, even more infighting than there already was. I mean, it's like an onion. There's layers to this war. But yeah, I just always found that hilarious. That the Medal of Honor was originally reserved for people in the Union who did amazing acts of, charity for their fellow man. And then you've got the Confederates who are like, I've got an idea. I'm like, oh God, you guys are exhausting. Like, I just make it make sense. I can't make it make sense. So yeah, the Medal of Honor was originally with the Civil War. But yeah, sorry to burst your bubble on the whole, already having the Salem witch trials one for me.
You know what?
I've been watching too much AHS Coven. Honestly, that's what it is.
And you know what? It's fine. I figured this was a possibility of something that would accidentally happen. But you know what? It's great. Like, so if you want to explain what you have about why the witches were never burned at the stake, and your other fact as well.
Sure. So from my point, the Salem witch trial thing, a lot of people suspect that the reason they didn't burn witches at the stake is resources. Why the hell would you waste your resources on a stupid witch? It was also much easier to just hang people and give them last rites and hope to God that Jesus saves their soul. But what do you have? I want to hear this.
I don't have a why. I just have statistics. I have that 19 of the 20 accused were hanged, and one who refused to plead guilty or innocent was actually pressed by stones.
Love it.
And several others who were awaiting trial died in jail due to the squalid conditions.
Well, yeah, man. No vaccines back then.
Yep.
So y'all were dying of dumb shit like smallpox and MMR.
And the common cold.
Measles, mumps, and rubella was a literal thing back then. Just, ugh. Anywho, gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
And then do you want to talk about Abraham Lincoln being a wrestler?
Abraham Lincoln was one of the most timid men that ever existed on the face of the earth. And his family, when he started, his family's not very tall, which is the hilarious part about it. He was a very tall man, as everyone knows, pressing almost 7 feet tall. And as he grew up, people all the time asked him to fight. And he was generally a very strong human because he loved working outdoors. And so he got into boxing wrestling, because he loved, I guess, the mental portion of it. It's like a strategy game, but for your body. And he was just such a big, strong, imposing feature that, his legs are so long, his arms are so long, he gets you in a lock and you're just, what are you going to do? You just have to kind of tap out. And it wasn't until it was a lot later in his life that I shouldn't say later back then in his life, like my age, that he became interested in politics, specifically in emancipation, because he had friends that were of color that grew up around his area. But anyhow,
yeah,
that's what we got.
Absolutely.
I was going to say, is it my turn? Is it my turn for you to ask me questions? I'm excited.
Yeah, but I'm going to ask you first. You said you were drinking coffee earlier, that your partner bought you coffee. So what kind of coffee are you drinking? How do you like your coffee?
Nothing exciting. A lot of people think I'm a total coffee snob because I have a Pyrex percolator, but in reality, percolator coffee far and wide is considered inferior to most other coffee making whatever. I'm in the 21st century. I make drip coffee, literally out of a drip machine. And I am drinking 8 o'clock brand coffee, which is like $5 for a giant bag. And I take mine with a little bit of sugar and a little bit of cream. And it's because I'm madly in love with like Greasy Spoon diners. And it reminds me of Greasy Spoon diner coffee.
Nice.
I'm not fancy. Like I am. No. The answer is no.
Nice. Yeah, I'm also drinking coffee right now. I just have Maxwell House, but I decided.
Oh yeah.
I decided to day drink a little today, so it's creamed with Irish cream.
Oh my God, that's how my mother drinks her coffee.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. Everybody all the time is like, Denise, you're so like you're so chill. And she's like, there's a reason.
But I don't have a drip coffee maker in this apartment, and even if I did, I wouldn't use it enough. So I use what I found out is called a cafetiere because of TikTok.
Oh my God, a French press.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
love that French guy who lost his shit when he realized.
Oh, that's
that
hilarious.
I was crying. I was laying next to my partner. He was dead asleep, and I saw that, and I have terrible asthma, and I hadn't taken my inhaler, and I just started physically wheezing. So he wakes up freaking out, thinking I'm dying. Like, I'm not dying. I swear to God. And I was like, but also watch this poor French guy realize just how like feral Americans are.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
French press.
All right. Are you ready for the last category I have for you?
Do it.
All right. So, well, you already know what one of the facts is. So I'm just not going to give that one to you. And I'm
my
just going to
50-50 question.
Yep. This is your 50-50 question. All right. The 4th of July is Independence Day is number 1. And then number 3 is the Puritans did not come to the New World for religious freedom.
God damn it. Jeez, I'm a bad American. I just want to let you know that. I would have defected by now if I had the option.
Same.
I'm at that point right now, but then I'm like, no, do not let the bullies take me out of my own goddamn country. I was born here. Damn it.
Also same.
Well, yeah, because we have to protect like the BIPOC. Like we have to. Like it's our duty. We fucked it up. We need to clean up our own mess. So anywho, back on the question. I want to say July 4th is Independence Day. I do, but I have a feeling once again about clerical errors that someone fucked up. And then Puritans, I hate Christianity so much. I'm gonna say the Puritans did not come over here for what everybody thinks they came over here for, because the Puritans are a weird group of people. So and they've got weird reasons to do dumb shit on a daily.
So is that the truth or is that the lie?
I think that's the lie.
Is that your final answer?
Oh God, yes.
That is incorrect.
Damn it! God damn it! Okay, see, I should have went with my gut. Clerical errors. America is so good at that.
The Puritans didn't come for religious freedom. They actually moved to Leiden in the Netherlands or Holland for religious freedom after being essentially persecuted for being a cult sect of
oh God, of course, because they are.
Yeah. they were a cult in England of the Anglican movement and the Protestant movement. They were like super Protestants. And they moved to the Netherlands because the Netherlands had a religious tolerance law, meaning that it was absolute 100% pure separation of church and state. Like anyone could practice any religion they wanted to. They didn't give a fuck. And the Puritans landed in the Netherlands, and then I'll read you exactly what I wrote. The Pilgrims first moved to Leiden in the Netherlands. However, after finding that they spoke a different language, because, you know, they speak Dutch in Holland, not English, and that their morals were on the liberal side as regards to tolerating all religions, the Pilgrims got on a boat and came to America, where they could establish their own religion as the one true religion, with no tolerances held for any other beliefs, a value still held by many Americans today.
I love history.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So they didn't flee for religious, freedom. They fled because they didn't want other people to have religious freedom. They were trying to force other people to convert, and while they were in Holland, and they were getting in trouble for it. Several of their members were sent to jail because you weren't allowed to proselytize in public. Yeah. And so they were like, well, screw you. If our religion can't be the one religion, then we're going to go somewhere where we can be racist.
It's America.
Yep.
It's America all over again.
Yep.
That's so
the
gross.
4th of July is not Independence Day.
Who fucked up?
No one. There's actually no consensus as to what the true Independence Day is. The reason that we went with the 4th of July is because that is what is written as the date
on the
document.
Right. That's when all the old ugly white men got together and was like, I love writing my name. And like, yeah, that shit.
Yeah, but the actual day that the Continental Congress voted to declare independence was July 2nd, and the final draft of the document of the Declaration of Independence was on July 4th. But it wasn't ratified by all of the signatures until later in the month of July, and then it arrived in England and hit the hand of King George on August 2nd. So technically August 2nd should be Independence Day, because that is
that mail system, yo.
That is the day that the person who was in charge was notified of the independence.
Like, you know what? To flip that on its head, I'm actually really impressed that by the time it got signed, late July, it somehow made it into the hands of somebody in Europe.
Oh yeah,
in August. That is expedited.
Oh yeah, they expedited that shit.
They were not fucking around. They were like, I hate you, Dad, and like just sent all the documents over. They're like, I want my own room. I'm so ready. All right, here we go. Wait, is it your turn to ask me or no?
No,
it's my last one.
It's your last one.
All right, my dear. Vintage horror movies. 1, Sissy Spacek was 18 during the filming of the 1976 movie Carrie. 2, the spider webs you see in the 1931 horror Dracula was made using a rotary gun and hot glue. Or 3, the movie Freaks was banned for decades after release in certain countries.
Well, I know that last one is true because I watched your TikTok videos.
Damn you. I was like, I'm putting this one in here. And my partner even said, he's like, that's in one of your TikToks. I was like, shh.
Yeah, so I know that's true. I have heard of a method using hot glue to make spider webs, but that sounds messy. That just, you know what? But it also sounds like it could be entirely true. I'm gonna go with the first one's a lie, and I don't care if I'm right or wrong. That's my final answer.
All right, I'm so proud of you. Yes, the first one is a lie. So the webs in Dracula, Todd Browning loved practical effects, of course, because all effects back then were practical. They didn't have like as much, they didn't have computers, so they couldn't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
CGI fucking anything. They had like camera tricks, but they didn't use any of those in Dracula. Thankfully, they used lighting tricks, but that's about it. So they used a heat gun, a rotary gun, and sticks of hot glue, industrial hot glue, and sprayed that shit all over the sets.
That sounds so messy, but also
they're shiny. So on black and white film, they look extra eerie.
That is amazing.
Please and thank you. The Carrie thing. So yeah, Freaks was banned for decades. We know that because people are dumb and ableist, and they're like, people with disabilities having rights, I hate it. And like they were like, it's grotesque. I'm like, what's grotesque? Looking at them, that's really gross. Like you people are awful. You're like, well, I want my children to see that. I'm like, your children need to see that. And it drives me nuts when people literally look at someone who's different than them and then just goes, I hate it. I'm like, whatever, you guys are useless and you're going to die off anyway. Like, die already. Because the generations that don't think that are doing just fine and will be okay without you. The Sissy Spacek. You want to try to guess how old Sissy Spacek was when that movie was filmed? It'll mess your day up.
How much will it mess my day up? On a scale of 1 to 10.
About a 6. She plays a 16-year-old. Think about that.
Oh. Was she like 14?
She was 26.
Okay.
Almost 27. She's way older. And that messed me up for a good while. Everybody go watch Carrie again. Because out of the entire cast, she looks the youngest. And she is the oldest. But anyhow, I guess that's all of our questions, huh?
Yeah.
We did the thing.
Yeah, and I will gladly have you on anytime. You're great.
Already. Oh, I have a fire truck coming by my house. The wee woos. Oh my God, it's Santa on a fire truck. I love my city. I live in this cute little town right outside of Philly, and they do adorable shit like this all the time.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
You're the best. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'll definitely have you on anytime you want to come on, even if you just want to come on and just talk about things. Like, it's great. Like,
bro, you gotta ask me. I'm not just gonna be like, I want to be on your podcast. Like, it's not gonna work like that. You literally gotta be like, hi, I have an idea, and I'll be like, okay.
Like, I mean, to be perfectly honest, conversation with you runs like melting butter.
Oh, thanks.
Like, it's smooth and free flowing, and it's great. Like, that's why I've had to start a second hour and a half long Zoom.
That just means you can cut out all the nonsensical bullshit that we go off on, and then you'll just be left with like clarified butter.
Or I can leave it in and have one random 2.5 hour podcast episode that people will just be very confused about.
Yeah, that can be your Patreon. Be like, I distilled it down for my free section, but if you want to hear us go off on tangents, and then of course all the things we've talked about, nanoparticle technology, Abe Lincoln beating the shit out of people, why clerical errors happened at the beginning of our country, and why Walt Disney's head may be frozen underneath Magic Kingdom, go to my Patreon.
Yeah.
Like, also why Disney is Satan. Yeah, there you go. Oh, and some Pyrex.
Oh yeah, and some Pyrex, and maybe some talks about gramophones and
phonographs.
And
I don't do gramophones.
Phonographs.
No, wax cylinders are evil.
I'm gonna let you go because
Totally.
my partner is probably wondering where I've disappeared
You
to.
disappeared into
probably
a hole.
thinks I've gone to Narnia because I've been in the closet for so long.
I understand. You gotta let me go.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's glad to talk to you and I guess virtually shake your hand.
Yes.
And nice meeting you, Billie.
You too.
My chosen name is Connor.
Hi, Connor.
All right, and I'll talk to you later.
Sounds great. Have a good one.
You as well.
All right, bye.
This show is recorded, produced, directed, and edited by Connor J. Cassidy, with music by Sounds Like Sanders. Our podcast is hosted on podserve.fm, and our music was found via soundstripe.com. Please follow us on all social media at FunFactsWith, and if you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, have a nice day.